IHTM Sports.
Hayden, number 2, wide receiver and defensive back.
Noah Frazier, number 3, wide receiver, DB.
Daniel O'Brien, number 5, wide out, DB.
John Copper, number 8, receiver and corner.
Charlie Rogers, number 9, wide receiver and DB.
Drew Rader, number 53, offense and defensive line.
Gabe Oakes, number 55, offensive, defensive line.
Grant Sapinski, number 62, left tackle. Chase Lanham, number 63, offensive and defensive line.
Robert Hayes, number 70, O-line and D-line.
Penn Picton, number 6, running back and linebacker.
James LaBarbera, number 11, running back.
Alex Grace, 25, quarterback and safety.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Tomahawk Stadium and tonight's game between the Indian Hill Braves and the Madeira Mustangs. I'm Tony Harris, here with my partner, Brian Shaw, the master of the mundane, to bring you all the action. Tonight's homecoming at Indian Hill, a lot of festivities, a lot of pageantry, and a big game.
Tony, let's just hope that the kids have a little more class when they take their date to homecoming dinner tomorrow. We don't need another Arby's coupon.
We've got Gold Star. Anyway, Madeira comes into this game 6-0 and having a heck of a season, a great senior class, and they performed admirably. The Braves are 1-5, won the big game last week against Taylor, and hoping to pull the upset tonight. And Alex Grace to kick it off and booms it not quite into the end zone, and we've got a Sam Autry, or Max Autry. And Max Autry tied up finally around the 25-yard line. I inadvertently said Sam Autry, Max's older brother.
Yeah, and the tackle made by our kicker, our quarterback, our punter, our safety, Alex Grace. Nice job.
Well, Madeira's had a heck of a start to their season. It's 6-0, and they've only given up 34 points on all 6 games. That's an impressive offense and defense, and their offense has been equally as impressive. They've scored 186 in just 6 games, and we're going to get to see the offense right now.
Yeah, so they can do just about anything. Just depends on the game as to what they spend their time on.
That's is that Nick Heiser?
So a team that comes into the game running it about 70% of the time, throwing it the other 30, and doing both effectively, almost 6 yards per rush and 7.5 per throw. Last week at Reading, little different game, tougher line of scrimmage. Had to go to the pass more and did that. Passed it about 40% of the time.
Peter Breidenbach, the junior quarterback, taking the snap and hands it off to Heiser. And he gets another boatload all the way to the 44-yard line of the Braves, actually 45.
So, you know, the history of these two schools, and we'll talk a little bit about trends and streaks and things of that nature, but Indian Hill coming into tonight, 39 players, 3 of which are seniors. Madeira, meanwhile, 49 players, 16 seniors, 11 juniors.
This is an excellent senior class. They've been playing for a number of years under Coach Chris Stewart, and everything seems to be evolving for them this year. Again, Breidenbach, the junior quarterback. Again, they're 6'7", outstanding seniors. So Breidenbach's pass. Wide open is Connor Kravac. And, boy, it takes 3 different Braves to bring him down. Kravac, a big load.
Looked like he was holding a wallet on a New York subway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a slow-moving play, but Kravac able to get behind the defender, Alex Grace. Grace with a good job stopping him yards after catch. This Madeira team, Toe, a lot of guys contributing. The old saying, you know, everybody has heard it a million times, many a little makes a mickle. Scottish saying. And, Toe, this is a mickle, 6-0 for these Madeira Mustangs.
Well, they've done a great job this year. They've got so many kids participating and doing so well out of this senior group. Kravac, we'll probably allude to later, an Akron signee for next year to play football. There goes Heiser again. That's his 3rd carry of the game already and picking up maybe 2 yards on that one.
Yeah, we mentioned this team, a lot of balance, Toe. If you had to say one thing about this Madeira football team, it's a lot of fun to play when you got a lot of guys doing little things to help you win ball games. And last week, an absolute thriller at home against Reading.
Well,
looks like Trey Carter got a little early jump.
And you got it on the left side of the ball for Madeira. You've got big number 72, Justin Matsudo, a large young man, goes about 280 and has been a fixture on that line for a number of years now. And the Braves can run off left tackle with Matsudo or on the right side with Grant Edgington, and they've got 2 big bodies there to run behind. There's a fake, and Breitenbach keeps it himself and gets knocked down around the 4-yard line.
Yeah, nice decision there, Toe. Brings up a 3rd that's going to be really short, or maybe even got the first down. He did, and it's 1st and goal.
Braves without the services of C.J. Hayden tonight. If you were here with us last week, he had a concussion and some symptoms there and had to be carted off. There's Heiser, and who will be in the end zone for a touchdown.
Nice job by Heiser. Put that right foot down, go north-south, and Madeira with a quick start. So we mentioned that last week, Madeira hosting Reading in a game that went to overtime. Madeira winning it with the Philly special. And if you ever saw a sideline with more joy after that one than that Madeira sideline, I mean, it was tremendous. Kids having a lot of fun and a lot of guys getting involved. Nice job, and we saw it there. A few runs, a nice pass to Kravac, and Madeira on the board.
Very efficient. And it's up and through. That's Jake Isrig with the extra point, an excellent kicker, also a fine soccer player for the Madeira Mustangs. Similar to Indian Hill, a large majority of the Madeira athletes play multiple sports and do very well in multiple sports. It's obviously kind of unusual to have to play multiple sports in the same season, but Isrig's done a very, very nice job with that.
I'll tell you what else is unusual. Just looking at the kicking with Isrig and Vicarics, you know, splitting the duties. Both of them, Vicarics 8 of 9 on extra points, and now with that one, 15 of 17 for Isrig. So just a lot of guys getting involved, even in the kicking game. And Toe, it's been a while for this Madeira Mustang football team. Beat Indian Hill last time in 2013, the last year of Indian Hill coach Mike Tyson. Madeira able to beat them 28-21 at their place, and the year before is the last time they won here. 42-0 in 2012. So been 10 years since they've won on this field. And they've got their opportunity tonight, certainly, with a good year so far.
Madeira ready to kick off, and let's see, they've got Mr. Rogers in his neighborhood there, and Noah Frazier back to return. And it's a short kick.
Smith
Oh, my
over there.
gosh. Somebody better recover it. A short kick and catches Indian Hill napping. And the ball will go right back to Madeira.
Yeah, I think a misunderstanding about assignments and perhaps even the way that reaction was, potentially even the rules. A couple of guys playing for the first time in a while for Indian Hill. And Madeira, I think probably more than anything, just trying to make Indian Hill go the length of the field, wanted to get that down about the 30, 25-yard line. I don't think that was trying to get possession, but able to come up with possession nonetheless.
So Madeira will take over on the 28-yard line of Indian Hill, up 7-0 already. And here goes Mr. Heiser. No, I'm sorry. Yep. That's Max Autry.
Stopped there by Xavier Coach. Xavier Coach, one of these 3 seniors for Indian Hill. Jack Stacy, the other one, first year back for Jack as a high school football player. And the other one's Sam Hewell. And we'll talk about Sam tonight, number 29. I'm sure we'll call his name quite a bit. Very active.
Up. And Indian Hill jumps again. Not a great, not an auspicious start, Brian.
Yeah, I think right now the success that Madeira is having running the football and establishing a line of scrimmage, this Indian Hill Braves team anxious to get off the ball, but interior defensive line, you're right on it. Just got to watch the ball.
Well, I mentioned those 2 bookend tackles that Madeira is blessed with, both seniors and both really good athletes. There's Breitenbach, and he's going to take it himself.
So that's a real blessing to have a senior quarterback with some experience. Great decision there. Gave that play plenty of time, and credit the offensive line for keeping him clean out there as he rolled out. Plenty of space in front of him. Made a good decision. Got the Braves, or got the Stangs down in good territory.
Brian, just to Breitenbach's only a junior, but he's played since his freshman year, so he does play like a senior. He's got plenty of seniors accompanying him, though.
Yeah, junior is a CHL player. If you're a good player, junior is an experienced player.
Well, again,
this is a guy that's. Go ahead.
No, this is his 3rd year as a starter,
yeah.
So he's got a lot of experience, a lot more than a lot of seniors do. There goes Autry, and he gets down to the 1. It looks like it's Max Autry. Again, most of these Madeira kids, he's an outstanding receiver, good running back. He even contributes to the baseball team.
Yeah, Autry last year a first-team CHL selection and 3rd team in Ohio. The same thing exactly for Connor Kravac and Aiden Megis, 2nd-team Ohio, first-team CHL last year. And we'll talk about him, how he's transformed his body and actually playing a different position. It looks like he's in.
Yes, he is. Madeira's in for the touchdown. That was Nick Heiser.
So you mentioned it on the first drive, very efficient. This team getting something every single play on schedule, not getting behind the chains, not having penalties, not having incompletions. A team that has moved the ball and been very efficient.
And here comes the other place kicker. You can pronounce his name. I'm
different.
And he misses. So the first break of the game for the Braves. Down 13-0, just 5 minutes and 13 seconds into the game, and the Braves need something to be excited about.
Tony, it's really impressive that you got 2 guys that you're comfortable with kicking, and both have had a good year up to this point. But as you get into postseason, and this is a Madeira team playing in Division 5 that you'd have to think is poised for a good postseason. You get into tight games, bad conditions, tough to throw the football, might not be able to run it and get in over the goal line. You have 2 guys, if one's struggling, and, kicking, it's a mental thing. To have 2 of them, that's a big comfort for that Madeira football team.
Well, the kicker did a magnificent job on the last kickoff to the Braves. So let's see if there's a little trickery involved here.
So beautiful night. It's the first night that we've had that's been as cool as it's going to get, down in the mid-50s by the end of the game. So we're now to the part of the season where you see fewer leg cramps and more guys on the field, and particularly in these games in the CHL where guys play both ways, you get a better quality of football, more guys on the field for more time.
All right, it's Greg getting ready to kick off for the second time here in the last 2 minutes, and a little squibber to Colton Smith. Grabs the ball and gets down to the 42-43 line for the Braves. So good field position to start. Interesting strategy by Madeira with the 2 kickoffs they've had.
Well, Tell, we mentioned it's homecoming weekend. Exciting time. Got the young cheerleaders down there. Seem like there must be 100 of them. Full sideline, and big crowd here tonight to see these Braves in their 7th game under John Rodenberg.
And we mentioned the Braves' leading receiver, C.J. Hayden, is out tonight on concussion protocol. And here goes Penn Picton as a running back, and he's met by a swarm of Madeira Mustangs.
Yeah, last week against Taylor.
Stable.
Last week against Taylor, Braves do a better job running the football, and I know that's a point of emphasis for this group. The pass protection's gotten better throughout the course of the year, but that run block and that ability to run the football and establish a line of scrimmage, really critical for this team. Did a better job last week, a little over 3 yards a carry, but for a team that was averaging under 2, it was a marked improvement.
Grace gets it out, and Charlie Rogers gets knocked down to the turf afterwards, but no penalty called, and the Braves looking at a 3rd and 10.
Yeah, tough for Alex Grace, the quarterback. We talked about it. John Pottage-Hill going down in the first game, and Alex kind of thrown into the fire. Without a running game, just speeds the game up, enables a team to send more guys to come get you and put guys in coverage, and just makes everything tougher. So hopefully Braves can get that running game started tonight.
And here they come. Oh, Alex just had to get rid of it just a little quicker than he wanted. Carson Kravac and Connor Kravac both coming at him, and nobody wants that.
The Kravac guys. John and Hillary Kravac, the proud parents of Carson and Connor. And, of course, we remember Jack playing on this field. Jack now graduated from Purdue, played for the Boilermakers and down in Texas, living the good life, paying taxes for your Social Security, Toe.
Very important. Keep working hard, Jack. And Alex Grace in punt formation. And
good-looking punt right there.
Fair catch. And that was Max Autry, and Madeira will take over at the, let's see, their own 23. And
so you notice all the good things so far. We talked about Madeira and really balance. I mean, any sport you talk about, it's just really important to have balance individually and as a team. You know, be able to do multiple things, and we've seen it so far. They've run the ball well. They've thrown it efficiently. And on defense, boy, getting pressure on the quarterback, still able to stuff up the run. And right there you have Autry with a nice job of catching the football and setting them up at the 20. Balanced team.
wow. Well, a lot of yards after run, after contact there for Nick Heiser, and a 17-yard gain.
Yeah, Heiser big back for this league, and you know, a guy you gotta try to tackle the bottom part of Heiser. Tough sledding when you go up high against that guy. He's got good lean, Toe. Every point of contact seems like he's leaning forward. Really tough to get a hold of.
I wish that corned beef I had this morning was lean.
6'1", 210
There's
pounds.
Autry, and he is off to the races. And he's thrown out of bounds unceremoniously by Alex Grace, but not after a very large gain for Madeira.
And so every one of these plays, whether it's covering on a kickoff, whether it's trying to make the tackle on Heiser in the previous play, or it's chasing down Autry on the sideline, you got your Indian Hill quarterback, your kicker, your punter. You got one guy out there that's getting a lot of miles right now. It starts to take a toll, a little bite out of him every single time we have a play like that.
Brian, I want to point out closest to the screen here, Carson Kravac. Oh, they just changed it. He and Noah Frazier was guarding Connor Kravac there for. Here goes Heiser, and he gets a few more tough yards.
Nice job there. Xavier Coach able to get him around the legs, take him down. So Coach has done an excellent job providing senior leadership right there in the trenches. He's in the middle of everything. And a guy these other players have been able to lean on a little bit this year to try to do his part to stabilize that line. And so as this game goes on, should Madeira put up another score, you're probably going to see a healthy dose of the run game. This is a team that pretty much responds to the game situation. We mentioned last week, had to run it a lot. They're comfortable doing that if they have to.
There's Autry, and tripped up initially, but gets a second effort, and oh my goodness.
Alex Grace able to push him out of bounds, and nice job by Autry being patient, working that sideline.
And gets down to the 1. And at first and goal, Madeira on the 2-yard line. And Madeira looks poised now to get their 3rd touchdown of the first quarter. And that's Autry, and he is back in the saddle again. That's 19-0, and Madeira now leads.
So many of these Madeira players, we remember the older brothers having played for Madeira. Are you saying that Gene Autry also played for the Mustangs?
Well, they're singing a fine tune right now, Brian. Everything going very well for Madeira right now. Again, a senior-dominated team, a fine coach and Coach Stewart. And, they made a mistake. Legal procedure, and Mr. Iskrig will have to kick the extra point from a little further out. I'm sorry, Mr. Vacarix.
Well done, Toe. Well done. So we talked about this series as we're waiting for them to re-kick. These two teams started playing back in 1955, Tony, when you were just a senior in college. And Indian Hill holds a 46-19-2 lead in the series, and a heck of a boot right there. It didn't matter.
Wow.
Could have pushed him back another 50 yards.
Yeah, that was a awfully nice kick for the senior.
But first game in 1955, and the two ties were in 1957 and 77. Things were pretty evenly matched for a period of time, and then in 1984, it got a little bit more lopsided. And we mentioned the last time, again, on this field that Madeira won was 2012, so an opportunity to break a streak here.
I think we just want to focus on the last 8 years, Brian. And again, these kids, these seniors from Madeira were, 9 years old or so. And again, you said several of them have older brothers that were tremendous performers for Madeira, and they probably sat in the stands and cheered on their brothers, absorbing those losses. And
said someday
they're exacting some revenge right now.
Yeah, that's right. Said someday I'll change this thing. You know, Toe, and a lot of people probably watching tonight live stream. First of all, the grandparents. We get a lot of grandparents, and some of them might be in Florida and maybe not able to watch us tonight. But when you do pick this up eventually, the stream gets archived on the YouTube television network. Just thoughts and prayers with everybody down in the state of Florida. I know a lot of the feed goes down there.
Vacarix gets ready after his 40-yard extra point and kicks it to Noah Frazier. Noah gets it up to about the 21-yard line before he's taken down.
Frazier having an outstanding season, just keeps increasing his role.
And that was Carson Kravac with the tackle. So not to be forgotten, the Lone Ranger and Tonto, both Kravacs, terrific athletes, both shine on the basketball court as well as on the football gridiron.
Yeah, this heady stuff. Going to Akron to play football. Jack, of course, we mentioned at Purdue. And John, football player in his own right at Hanover. So this coaching staff from Madeira, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Quick out there to Colton Smith, and hangs on and gets some positive yards for the Braves. With about a 7-yard gain, and the Braves at 2nd and 3. Maybe have a little mojo going now.
6'4" quarterback throwing it off to a 6'6" wide receiver. You can almost hand it to him. A lot of length on this Indian Hill team. We mentioned C.J. Hayden out, another guy that's a tough cover. Looks like we're going to have motion.
Yep, and that was Colton Smith, the guy wide receiver who just caught the ball, moved a little quickly, got a little anxious, and maybe the ball was going to come to him.
So this Madeira coaching staff, we mentioned Coach Stewart, Chris Stewart, his 5th year, 31-18 overall, 17-13 in the league. But if you look at it, he's played Wyoming and Indian Hill, 8 games that he hasn't won against those two teams. So you take that out, he's 31-10 and 17-5 without 2 schools that have much bigger enrollments than do the Madeira Mustangs. So he's done just an outstanding job winning the games against the Reddings and the Marymount's, which are always the first line of business. Taylor as well. And he's done it, and he's done it well. Former Miami University student, a guy that spent some time at Wyoming and Oak Hills and Anderson, and 4-7 year last year, uncharacteristic of his Madeira teams, a team that turned the ball over, -12 on the turnovers.
Jimmy. Well, 3rd and 7, and the rush on to Alex Grace, and has to get rid of it a little bit prematurely, and he does. And it was, again, Carson Kravac in the backfield putting quite a bit of pressure on Alex Grace.
Until we mentioned it throughout the year, this Indian Hill team, better opportunity for completions, it seems, when it's in the middle of the field. I think Madeira loading that area of the field, making it tough.
Alex Ray's getting ready to go back to punt now, and he mentioned he punts, he kicks off, he's the quarterback, he's the safety. He does just about everything here for the Braves. A nice booming punt, and taken there by Autry with a fair catch at the 39.
Once again, good execution. Autry able to set his offense up, get possession of the ball, and again, we got a single guy back and able to get to the hash to make that play. Nice job.
So it's a 36 or a 37-yard punt with no return. The 37, and
until we mentioned this year that Madeira is having a lot of things falling into place. They are now in the top 10 of Division V teams in the state of Ohio. Checking in at number 10. Of course, Wyoming is second to Coach Ginn's Glenville team up in Cleveland in Division IV. And we've got a couple other ones. Hamilton-Baden, the #1 team in the state of Ohio in Division III, and Moeller, right now the #1 team in Ohio for big schools Division I. And Winton Woods knocking on the door at number 2 for Division II schools. So good times here at Tri-State football, and Madeira Mustangs a big part of it. Of course, some big games around town tonight. Winton Woods and Kings, 2 undefeated teams in Division II. And we've talked about it before, where Kings has had good regular seasons and then seemingly fallen apart in the postseason. They're going to get a big test tonight with Winton Woods, and the other big one down in Nippert Stadium tonight, Moeller and Elder.
Breitenbach.
Wow,
nice. Again, good yards after contact, and Peter Breitenbach at about 8-9 yards on that little scramble. Breitenbach, another multi-sport athlete, fine shortstop for the baseball Mustangs.
Doing a nice job there getting chased by Sam Hewell. We mentioned him, and able to get by Penn Picton and keep his balance. Pick up that first down.
There's Nick Heiser, and he gets stopped. No gain, and 2nd and 10 for the Mustangs as we count down to the end of the first quarter.
So Logan Bass, the son of Indian Hill Middle School coach Eric Bass. Nice job there, and doing exactly what you need to do is get him around the legs.
Here goes Breitenbach. And another nice scamper.
Just making great decisions.
They had the play, Brian, I mentioned earlier, Connor Kravac was flanked closest to us here at the bottom of the screen, and Noah Frazier was in one-on-one coverage with him.
Yeah.
And that's a decided height advantage.
Well, and it's a big deal, too, when you know what kind of coverage you got and you know where your route is, you know what's the open part of the field to run to as a quarterback.
There's Heiser, and he's plowing through.
Looks like we're going to have a hold here.
Yeah.
And Toe again, Alex Grace making that tackle. And that's not just a tackle, Toe. That's a 6'1", 210-pound running back on a 15-yard run, basically, before there's contact. The two of you are running about 15 yards and having contact. You know, it's one thing to get off the ball and have a 2 or 3 yard collision, but you start having 15-yard collisions as a safety quarterback. That's a tough place.
Now, Nick Heiser, they may have stopped him from getting 100 yards this first quarter. Nick Heiser, a splendid athlete, starts on the basketball team for Madeira and on the baseball team as well. Man for all seasons.
Well, 430 kids in the school, you pretty much have to be. And we'll talk a little bit about the discrepancy between schools and enrollment size.
Breitenbach with plenty of time. Now he's getting pressure, and he'll throw it away.
So I think a lot of people look at these great pressure put on there by Trey Carter and the freshman, George. You had him in basketball.
Oh, Vollmer.
George Vollmer.
Yes.
So a lot of people look at the CHL and say, hey, it's all the same. You know, it's 3 sport athletes. They're small schools. And if you're coming from a perspective of somebody maybe in the GMC or the GCL, you might think that. But you got schools with 650 kids, schools with 350 kids. It's a big difference.
Here goes Heiser, spinning, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, and he gets the first down. And that will be mercifully the end of the first quarter.
I tell you, what a great first quarter for Madeira. It's seemingly a positive gain on every single play, you know, and it's a team that is really executing. This isn't all just about having seniors and guys that are talented. This is a lot about everybody doing their job and having little things, as we mentioned, add up. And you do the little things right, the big things take care of themselves.
Well, as we change sides of the field, and the Madeira kids sprinted down the field, the line of scrimmage. They've got some real pep in their step, and they can't wait for the next snap.
You know, it's going to be interesting, too, when they get to the postseason, the benefit they have, and we often see it with Coach Rockwell's team in basketball, one of the benefits they have is the schedule that they've played prior to playing teams at their division level as far as enrollment size. When you can get a game against a Taylor, an Indian Hill, a Wyoming, a Marymount, then you can go down and drop into that Division 5 level. Well, that's a big advantage. You start seeing teams that maybe look like you or maybe don't even look like you from a physical standpoint. So going to be very interesting. By the way, I see John Kravac with the camera. He's kind of the Linda Holmes Madeira equivalent. I love it. Still out there taking shots of his boys. And we mentioned on the other side of the field, Linda Holmes, who has done just a phenomenal job for all the fans and parents that would like to just watch the game and still have images of their kids and memories about this. Linda Holmes providing a lot of smiles.
A photographer extraordinaire. There's Autry, and he scores again.
And doing it different ways. Coming into tonight's game, 24 touchdowns for this Madeira team, 15 of them on the ground, 9 of them through the air. So good balance there. And hey, how about even within the running back position group, you got 2 guys in Heiser that's able to get the ball into the end zone. And Autry. And we mentioned it, Autry kind of thunder and lightning, if you will, between those 2 guys. Both of them with 7 touchdowns coming into tonight's game, and they've been able to add to it.
Don't minimize Heiser's speed. He's got deceptive speed. Now, Brian, you have deceptive speed, but you're slower than you look.
It's only to the refrigerator toe. But Autry also on the receiving end. This is a guy that's very versatile. 25 catches coming into the night, 5 of them for touchdowns. This is a guy that can do a lot for this team. And Toe, we talked about the creativity and ending last week's game against Reading, where the quarterback ends up getting Breidenbach ends up being the recipient of the touchdown pass to win it. And guys that can throw it, guys that can, just do pretty much everything, football players. And for a lot of kids, as you look around, we were talking about earlier tonight off air about a guy that's a PO in baseball, just pitches. Boy, you come to a school like Madeira or Indian Hill, you got a chance to do just about everything if you want to put forth the effort. And this Madeira football team just full of football players, guys that can do different things. And so one story I think that is really, truly amazing because of what he's done to kind of reinvent himself and reposition himself is Aiden Megas. Go ahead and tell the people about that.
Aiden Megas is a big man. As a freshman, he was about 240, 245. He played center and he played on the defensive line, and he's played both ways for Madeira now for 4 years. But over the spring and summer, he lost 40 pounds, just reshaped himself. And boy, what an athlete. And now that he's not carrying those extra 40, he's got speed and quickness. And Coach Stewart intuitively moved him to linebacker, and he's leading the team in tackles by a long shot. He plays tight end. They don't throw to him as much. I guess they don't trust his hands as much as somebody else might, but he opens up a lot of those holes that you're seeing Heiser and Autry and Breitenbach run through. They're being opened by Megas. He's the product of 3 older brothers, 4 older brothers actually that beat him up a little bit and pushed him around, and now he's doing the pushing around.
Yeah, I got one of them. I remember watching Jake chase my son around, and boy, I tell you what, that guy could really play. But you look at him out there now. If you're watching the game, it's number 1. Aiden Megas, and it's just amazing what he's been able to do to change. And you think about that, Toe, a guy that's used to playing a physical game and now all of a sudden a little bit lighter, can move around, can do things in space. That is a tremendous advantage.
And he's an outstanding baseball player. And without those 40 pounds, I'm looking forward to watching him this spring because he was a really good player. And now that he can move that much quicker and get the bat around that much quicker, he'll be really dangerous. Incomplete pass there.
Yeah, nice job there by Autry on the coverage, actually jumping in front of Vollmer.
That's one of the first times I think we've seen Vollmer as a wide receiver this year. And again, the Braves need, with Eli Riggs somewhat limited, and without the C.J. Hayden, his favorite target, Grace's favorite target, the Braves have to look for some reinforcements. Alex Grace calling the signals. Penn Picton in the backfield with him. I guess it was intended for George Vollmer or Daniel O'Brien, but it falls incomplete, and the Braves will have to punt it away.
Yeah, I tell you, you look at that at 3rd and 10, and limited options as far as what you're going to do. You don't want to give up field position, like to get Alex Grace in position to flip the field, which he's capable of doing. But conversely, you look on the Madeira side, no 3rd and 10s. You know, always getting something. You're in a 2nd and 5, a 3rd and 2, whatever the case may be. A little bit more manageable, a little more tough, a little more difficult to defend for a defense. Start getting in that 3rd and 10, and guys have an idea what you're doing, and they know how to defend it.
Alex Grace with plenty of time, and
Wow.
It's another big one.
Tell you what, though, it is just incredible. And look at that.
Called a fair catch.
How about Max Autry with the
Great catch.
Yeah, I mean, the shades of Rod Woodson, the old Raider and Purdue Boilermaker, catching that ball up over his head. Very nice. But Toe, that's another one where if he doesn't catch that football, you know, we're certainly inside the 20, maybe inside the 15.
That's a 52-yard punt in the air.
Yeah.
That's fair caught. 52 yards. And this is a kid that, you know, it's not like he's been resting the last 10 or 15 minutes. He's been running for his life.
Probably taking a little frustration out on that football
Yeah.
on the punt. We mentioned it before. If there was a punt, pass, and kick opportunity for high school football, I'd put my money on Alex Grace. They can throw it about as far as he can kick it, about as far as he can punt it.
We're having a little equipment adjustment here. The referee helping out, Nick Heiser. Something with his jersey.
So far, the only common opponent for these two is Marymount. You hate to play transitive property football, but that's a team Madeira beat by 33, and of course, we recall Indian Hill with a 13-point lead, unable to finish the deal, end up losing 16-13. They are going to start crossing paths, though. Next week, Indian Hill's going to be at Finneytown, and well, Madeira's going to play Deer Park, which we haven't seen yet. But then they finish the season, Madeira does, with home games against Taylor and Wyoming. And you talk about two different styles of play. That ought to be really beneficial for them as they look toward the postseason.
Here goes Heiser. And boy, is he having a game.
So he's just not going to let you tackle him up on the upper half. You cannot tackle him around the shoulders.
Big, strong kid, keeps pumping those legs. Heiser came into the game leading rusher for Madeira with 659 yards. Looks like he's trying to get to 1,000 tonight.
So there are some guys, and, you know, with his height, too, you know, being 6'1", 210 pounds, kind of reminds you a little bit of Hunter Gillespie from Taylor a few years back. Of course, Gillespie also ran a 4.5 40, which made it a nightmare for parents looking at 15-yard collisions. But same type of running, tough to bring down.
There's a fake, and Breitenbach looks. And, oh, it's dropped. Dropped by Autry. Wow, that's make a note of that. No, yeah, he's got incredible hands, and we saw that on the last punt.
Sure did.
And so maybe he's getting tired of touching the ball so much. But you know, Max Autry, an excellent wide receiver, running back, cornerback for Madeira with a very rare miss.
It happens. Let's see what they do here on 2nd and 10, a team that does not like to be off schedule. I would imagine that they're not trying to get it all back. They want to set themselves up for a manageable 3rd down. Seems to be the way they operate. So if you look on the season, they've had some big plays, certainly. But most of what they've done from a scoring standpoint has been 5, 10, 15-yard plays to finish the deal. So they're going to do just that, set themselves up for a 3rd and 2.
Well, Heiser, we don't have official stats, but I would imagine he's well over the 100-yard mark already.
And so that's just a sign of a confident team. And I can relate it to something Madeira fans might remember as Andrew Benintendi playing baseball for Madeira. This is a guy that wasn't afraid to hit with 2 strikes, obviously, in the CHL, right? And he shouldn't have been. But as a 16-year-old, a 15-year-old, to have the frame of mind, hey, I'm going to see a couple of things. I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to get outside myself because I'm good. It's another situation here where these guys are good enough that they can get into a 3rd and 2 and feel confident they're going to get through it. Great job there by the Braves.
Well, they push back Heiser, and that's instead of a 3rd and 2, now we have a 4th and 1.
Chase Lanham with the tackle there. You're going to come
Lanham,
off the field.
By the way, one of the captains tonight, Chase Lanham, C.J. Hayden, who was not in uniform, and Alex Grace, the 3 captains for the Braves tonight.
Not sure what happened there, but he went right to the bench, and he's getting a little bit of a blow.
Yeah, he's an important part of this team, offensive and defensive line, Chase Lanham.
Going for it on 4th down,
and
they're going to get it.
Yards after contact, and Nick Heiser with about 5 more, and gives another 1st and 10 there for the Madeira Mustangs.
Yeah, impressive run, because he wasn't just running past anybody. Trey Carter has played about as good a football as you can play for this Indian Hill team this year. Did a nice job getting into that backfield, but Heiser able to get through it and pick up that 1st down.
And Heiser comes out of the game, and Autry now in the backfield with Breitenbach.
So a lot of different things to prepare for too, and that's going to help them in the postseason. The team that runs different formations, different guys getting involved, take away one thing, open up another.
There's Autry. Can he get around the corner? And the Braves there's a penalty. It might be a holding, and it is on Madeira.
Dan O'Brien doing a nice job going to that sideline, get Autry out. Took a really tough stiff arm and able to use his hands to get Autry out of bounds. And nice job there. Dan O'Brien's played some good football. You mentioned earlier the comfort level Alex has with different receivers, and that's a guy I think that Alex has been helped by immeasurably as a quarterback, particularly in the middle of the field. O'Brien making tough catches, but easy to see. Good frame. Very athletic young man.
Well, a 1st and 21 for Madeira, and Autry. And, well, 1st and 21, which now it's going to be a much more makeable 2nd and maybe 7.
Yeah, Max Mobley down ahead of the play.
Well, another big guy.
Had the lid come off.
Yeah.
I think he wanted something. Maybe somebody grabbed a face mask or something, but not happy at the end of that play.
That's a 2nd and 6.
Student body left right there, too.
Max Mobley, catcher for the Madeira baseball Mustangs.
Until in years past, I mean, I know this has been a while, 9 years for a win, 10 years since they won on this field. But for a long time, we've looked at groups of athletes from Madeira and Marymount both, and known that, kind of surprised that they didn't win their share of games. I mean, I'm thinking back to the days of, of course, we talk about Jack Kravac and Adam Wyzork and some guys, and you talked about the Migas brothers, some guys that could really play. Nick Cedillo, I mean, you kick the ball. Every time you punt the ball or kick off, you're kind of wondering where he's going to be. Is he going to spring it? Track guy. Really kind of interesting that it hasn't happened till now. But this is a special team. They've got all the pieces. Always seems like there's something missing in high school football in the CHL. Nothing missing here.
Nick Heiser. And he gets the 1st down. Let's just be happy that the Heisers don't have a younger son.
Yeah, well, you start talking about the Cedillos, the Migas, the guys that we talk about on this team, and we've got them, over in Wyoming. You got the Marty family, and you got the Rogers family, and it's always something. The Kravacs.
It's like Noah's Ark. There's Breitenbach. And he finds an open, is that Hopewell?
Yeah, Hopewell with the catch, and a nice job because he was in traffic, took a big hit, able to get his hands away from his body. If he lets that ball get on him, probably gets jostled out.
Aiden Hopewell, just a sophomore. And again, this is a senior-dominated team that is, ready for bear, as you can see. They well-disciplined and good schemes offensively and defensively, and they're going to go ways in the playoffs. Reidenbach takes the ball himself. Why let Autry and Heiser have all the fun, and he scores, and that makes it 33-0 here with still 4:40 left until halftime.
Until you look over at that Madeira sideline, and I know the student section's got a little energy to. Paul Brown had a saying, act like you've been there before. The parents in that parent section acting like they've been there before.
Yeah.
Nobody standing, nobody yelling. We're pretty good this year.
Well, again, I think that senior class that Madeira has is excellent and well-deserved. I mean, they've got several kids have earned accolades last year and will as well this year and have done really, really well. Max Autry was a first-team All-League selection last year and will be this year. Connor Kravac, same thing. Nick Heiser, same thing. Aiden Migas, the same thing. Grant Edgington and Justin Matsuda were honorable mention last year, and they're having great years, and don't think that their contributions are unnoticed by the rest of this program.
Yeah, and more than any. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'd say they've got 6 seniors that are leaders, that are outstanding players, and they've got it going on. And the hope is the Braves obviously are somewhat void of a senior class, but have an outstanding junior class, and hopefully something like this happens for Indian Hill next year.
Yeah, and in the all-league voting for first team, second team, honorable mention, whatever the case may be, there has always been a difference in sports. In basketball, they don't have any problem. Hey, if you're good enough and you're a freshman, you're first team all-league, not a problem. Football, they really value the older players. So for them to have that many guys, you're really going to have to be better than a senior or anybody that's older than you. And Braves are going to get the ball a good field position here.
I only just mentioned Justin Matsudo, who's, again, a large young man. But he has his own reputation and can stand on his own merits. But he's the son of the outstanding superintendent at Madeira, Kenji Matsudo. And obviously, Mr. Matsudo very proud of his young boy. And Mr. Matsudo, Kenji Matsudo's father, takes care of he's a groundskeeper for the baseball field at Madeira. Very unsung, very quiet, just loves to work, and serves the Madeira community very, very well.
Throw out to Jonathan Kopfer. And we're going to have a 2nd and 10. And this kind of shows you a little bit of the difference, just where things are right now. Not good, bad, or different, but just where things are with regard to what happens when you get into a 2nd and 10. Are you confident that you can move the ball? Are you good with a 3rd and 5 if you're able to run it here on 2nd and 10? Just a different mindset. Braves will be there. Just maybe not this year, but the Braves will get there.
O'Brien flanked out closest to the bottom of the screen, and Grace will take it himself, gets banged around, and picks up about 3.
Nice job. Braves putting themselves in a manageable position, doing what we just talked about.
Alex Grace is tough, and he's not giving up. There was a Harris poll done with the team on who the toughest kid on the team is, and I got a 3-way tie with Alex Grace, Penn Picton, and Chase Lanham.
How tough?
Voted on by the players.
How tough are they, Toe?
They're tougher than a Kroger steak. Alex Grace goes back. And, boy, there's deep
Hey,
one.
how about that?
Wow. Was that Noah Frazier?
Jonathan Kopfer out there.
Oh, wonderful. Well, Jonathan dropped that short ball there, but, boy, well, he picks up that bomb. And nice job for Jonathan Kopfer. Wow. Big pass play. It gets all the way down to the 2 or the 3 yard line. We mentioned, Jonathan Kopfer is an outstanding baseball player as well. And they give it to, was it Charlie Rogers that caught it? Well, it's tough for that far side of the field when it's dark to pick up an 8 or a 9, especially when you need cataract surgery. But I apologize if that was Charlie Rogers and not Jonathan Kopfer.
Yeah, I think that was Kopfer.
Oh, you think it was?
Yeah, I do. Okay. I do. He's getting a little attention over there. I think he kind of pulled up a little lame. Nice job there by Madeira's defense. But, again, we've seen with Alex Grace, I mean, we saw the punt, 52 net in the air, and then you see that throw, and truly got a lot of ability, a lot of natural ability, no doubt
talented,
about it.
and we unfortunately haven't seen him place kick yet tonight, and he's an outstanding place kicker as well.
Yeah.
And in a few weeks, we'll get to see him on the basketball on the hardwood, and Penn Picton, and he's spun around and thrown down. And that was Mr. Migas. The svelte.
Yeah, I think in Grant Edgington in on that as well.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting here 2 minutes before the half what Indian Hill chooses to do. They're at the 5 yard line. You have to think if they can get a couple of yards, maybe they look at this as 4 down territory. Oh, how about that?
Well, Dan O'Brien, beautiful fake, and boy, Alex Grace did a wonderful job. He had everybody in the whole stadium fooled, and throws it back. That's some arm strength, too, going the wrong way.
Let's take a look here. Well, it looks like we're going to after the kick, which is appropriate.
But Dan O'Brien with the catch and the touchdown for the Braves. And Alex Grace to kick the extra point. And it is true. So Alex Grace and Dan O'Brien.
Let's take a look here, Toe. You see him roll out to his right all the way back from outside the hash to outside the hash.
And throwing off his back foot.
Yeah.
That's arm strength. And, Alex Grace, a very, very impressive play, and cuts the margin to 27.
So I don't know if you remember Northwest, Larry Eli night, full house. We were up here with Bo Cordell, maybe the most accomplished of Indian Hill quarterbacks, watching Alex Grace roll to his right from about the 30-yard line and jump and throw it to the back of the end zone almost for a touchdown completion. Ball ended up, the receiver was out of bounds, but a jump pass 30 yards in the air.
Yeah.
And then we see something here tonight that we haven't seen before. I don't know if I've ever seen a guy outside the hash on one side of the field throw back off the back foot to the other side. Desperate times call for desperate measures with regard to play calling, but boy, I tell you what, that's asking a lot of your quarterback, and he delivered.
Well, and now that play's over, he'll kick off. Alex Grace again. Let's see how deep this one will go. And hits it on the line, and it's out of bounds. I mentioned this several times. Alex Grace, he's the place kicker. He's the punter. He's the free safety. He's the quarterback. He doesn't get a play off. He doesn't get to sit down and have a drink of water and listen to the coaches about what they see. He's out there every play,
right?
And he's fighting.
Which means if you're on kick coverage or you're on punt coverage, please try to make the tackle and keep your punter or kicker clean. And the same thing with regard to the front seven. It's one thing if he's got to help in pass coverage, but if he's making a lot of tackles, that's a long night.
Madeira back at it. And here goes Nick Heiser. And he gets slowed down with about a 4-yard gain.
Yeah, Grace in on that. Xavier Coach. And a name that we're happy to be calling too, Eli Riggs.
That's great. They could use him on the offensive side of the ball too, but he is playing on defense as an end. Breitenbach with a quick pass there to Autry, breaks the first tackle, breaks the second, that's the third, the fourth, and Autry scampers all the way into the end zone.
Yeah,
three missed tackles.
So little things, and this guy, Madeira does the little things right, and they add up. And that's a big, spectacular play right there. But running out of tackles. 3 or 4 opportunities to get him in tow. That's just a heck of an individual effort, yards after catch, yards after contact.
Well, bang, bang, Maxwell. And down upon their heads. That makes it 40-7. And pending the extra point here.
Looks like Will Carpenter going to come in and kick this one.
Well, Alex Grace actually is taking a play off.
Well deserved.
And having his left just below his knee wrapped a little bit. And he's limping slightly as he goes.
Toe, that's the third kicker to kick an extra point tonight for Madeira. And so there's balance, and then there's another level right here where you got so many guys just making a contribution.
Well, 41-7 as with just 1 minute and 10 seconds left until halftime. And unless the Braves can score, we're going to have a running clock start the third quarter.
Yep.
Ohio high school rules, if a team is up by 30 or more in the second half, it's a running clock.
Yeah, you look at that sideline, Toe, and, we mentioned it, 49 players, 16 of them seniors, 11 juniors, 6 sophomores, 16 freshmen for Madeira. So the numbers are good, particularly for a school, again, with about 430 kids. To be able to find that many guys that want to play football, love the game. And so you're seeing it out here tonight. A lot of guys, pretty much just a whole bag full of Swiss Army knives. Guys that can do a lot of different things. And it's nice when you got more than one that can do that.
A nice run there. Is that Noah Frazier?
Noah Frazier getting it out almost to the 40. And that's what I thought they were doing the first kick, trying to keep themselves away from that, make Indian Hill go a little further, because Noah's had a great year in kick return. But, every team's got one. Every team's got a guy that's the jack of all trades, and in spectacular fashion, Alex Grace happens to be that guy for Indian Hill. We've seen it before, though, with guys that maybe didn't have quite that skill set. We've had other guys that you would refer to them as a Swiss Army knife. They just seem to be able to do everything. Well, their team is just full of them.
I was going to say IHTN has one, and that's Steve Overberg, and he's with us tonight. 55 seconds left. Grace fakes, and it is legal procedure on the Braves.
Yeah, Overberg would be the what the heck are we going to do now guy. When the headset doesn't work, or there's bad weather, or there's a cable issue or something going on.
If you're
nobody can figure it out.
If you're watching this game and enjoying the production, Steve Overberg, there's a great deal of credit for that. He's Denny Dupp's right arm, and brings a lot and enlightens everything that we do, and has been doing it for an awfully long time.
Well, so given the fact that half the audience is IH fans, even if you're not enjoying it, he's still doing a great job.
There's an interception. Wow. Is that Colin Miranda?
Looks like Aiden Thiel to me, number 13, making the play and getting this Mustang team now with 39 seconds, plenty of time inside the 10-yard line. Looks like there's going to be a penalty, though. It's going to be Madeira ball first down, but maybe a little bit further away from the goal line than we thought.
Well, that was Aiden Thiel. His father's up here with us tonight, doing the camera work here for Madeira, and he's smiling. He just hasn't told his face yet, but he's enjoying himself.
Let's see what Madeira decides to do here, setting up at the 20.
It's a fake, Breidenbach. Wow.
Going to end about the 6-yard line, Toe, and 31 seconds to call timeout. And really a lot of options now. The question, I think, what are you going to do with 39 seconds from the 20 is a good one. From the 6 with 31 seconds left, you can do just about anything you want.
Did they call timeout?
Yeah, and they're going to have, looks like they're going to use one, and they'll have 2 left.
I don't think they called a timeout, Brian. Honestly, I think Chris Stewart has more class than that. They did not call timeout.
It looks like we're having a runoff here for whatever reason. And I'm not sure why. Let's take a look here and see. I mean, both teams going over to the sideline. Looks like we're going to have another play, but looks like the clock has been run down to 5 seconds.
I think it's a delay a game. I think, no? Madeira did call a timeout. They let the clock run down to 5 and called a timeout.
Looks like they're going to get in formation to down the ball and go to the half, 41-7.
Yeah, they have a guy in deep formation down here, and and Madeira will end it there. And
Toe, a heck of a first half there. Yeah. 41 points on the board, and Madeira's going to sprint to that locker room. A bunch of guys fired up.
Well, it's a sign of class and respect. Chris Stewart, and they could have punched it in and really tried to rub it in, and that's not the way he operates.
Yeah, I got no problem. There wasn't a statement or anything about class. It's football, and well, you get opportunities to manage the clock and run some short field and a lot of things you'd like to do to get better. Yeah, not really about score.
The only thing that personally I would have done is maybe put in some of the freshmen and sophomores and let them try to go from there. But
I think they're going to have plenty of time.
Yeah. Well, as we head to halftime now, the halftime score: Madeira 41, Indian Hill 7. We'll be back in just a little bit over 19 minutes. We'd love to see you back. Please come back and join us. Please.
Popcorn.
Braves. Let's hear it for our Indian Hill Braves cheerleaders one more time. And coming forward, asking you bring your attention to the end zone as we start to introduce the 2022 Fall Homecoming Court. Give them a round of applause as they come to the 50-yard line. Here we go, representing the nominees for the class of 2026, Princess Sabrina Mangiolano and Prince Gina Langiola. Also representing the class of 2026, Princess Ashley O'Brien and Prince Charlie Warfall. Representing the nominees for the class of 2025 are Princess Caroline Langworthy and Prince Patrick Langworthy. Also representing the class of 2025 are Princess Samantha Kane and Prince Henry.
Oh yeah.
Representing the nominees for the class of 2024, juniors, here we go, Princess Hope Lemon and Prince Mattel Sheridan. Also representing the class of 2024, Princess Sri Mastarzo and Prince Max Profeta. And representing the nominees for the class of 2023 are Princess Cindy Frost and Prince Noel Hayes. Also representing the class of 2023 are Princess Anita Conrad and Prince Marco Petrovic. Here we go. As the winners of the Fall Homecoming Court are announced, please step forward. The freshman princess is Sabrina Mangiolano and the Prince Gina Langiola. Let's hear it for them. All right, sophomores, let's get it on. The sophomore princess is Caroline Langworthy and the sophomore prince is Patrick Langworthy. Let's go. The junior class is Battle Cup champions. Let's get ready. The junior princess is Hope Medwin and the junior prince is Max Profeta. All right, seniors in the house, let's go. The homecoming queen, representing the class of 2023, is Cindy Frost. And the homecoming king is Joel Arias. Please give our entire homecoming queen a nice round of applause. Let's go Braves! License number JKD 3316. We have a silver Honda Accord on the lot, blocking someone. You got to move it. JKD 3316. Thanks. And now for your halftime entertainment, please welcome to the field your 2022 Braves Marching Band. Under the direction of drum major Harrison Penny.
Oh, wait, you actually are coming?
The Braves Marching Band will be performing their program Ritual, featuring original music by Randall Stanbridge and The Rite of Spring by Igor Stravinsky. Tomorrow, the Braves Marching Band returns to competition at the Simon Peckman Invitation. Drum major, please your band ready. Braves Marching Band, you may take the field in exhibition. Attention, Braves fans, attention, Mustang fans. I've been asked by the Indian Hill Rangers to ask you that all cars that are double parked in the lot, you must move your cars. All cars that are double parked in the lot, you must move your car, please. All cars that are double parked in the lot, you must move your car. Thank you.
5, 4, 3. Let's go, sweetie. We'll see you tomorrow. Come on.
Choose the Weiler way today. Tired of the traditional online car shopping experience? When you visit our Weiler websites and have a question, we have dealership professionals who will chat with you live. Rooted in family, driven by you.
All right, team. We got a long day ahead of us, but this is what we do. It's time to go to work. Yeah, let's get it.
We work, we get stuff done.
That's right.
No matter what the problem, we just roll up our sleeves. Not afraid of the project, not afraid of the time.
Okay.
Say it, I build America, we always on time.
Let's get it.
We work, we get stuff done. No matter what the problem, we just roll up our sleeves.
That's right.
Not afraid of the project, not afraid of the time.
We
Say
got
it,
it.
I build America, we always on time.
Let's do
Listen,
it.
do you know the mission? Do you know the story? We've been at it for a minute, so we're not here for the glory. We aggregate, crush rock, 24/7 non-stop. Hot products high in calcium, low in that magnesium. We'll mix it up, then bag it. Y'all know what I'm saying.
Looking for a new home? You'll love SipsyKlein.com. For the latest new listings, price changes, and open houses, make it part of your everyday routine.
When a new listing is posted, I want to be among the first to find it. My secret weapon? SipsyKlein.com. I start each day with a cup of coffee, the latest new listings, price changes, and all the home buying tools I need.
That's just the beginning of what you'll find at SipsyKlein.com.
Madeira kicks off here, and the Braves, not a great return up to the 15-yard line where they'll start 1st and 10.
Good effort there by Charlie Rogers, trying to make something happen for his team, but tough place to field the ball.
Madeira's done just about everything right tonight. The Braves had that great long pass that Jonathan Kopfer hauled in, and that's really been the one ray of sunshine right now for the Braves. The game is on a running clock. I mentioned earlier in the half that it would be that way the second half, and at 41-7, hopefully the Braves can find some other sunshine here. An otherwise kind of gloomy evening. Hand off to Penn Picton, and Penn with a nice run there, and gains about 6 yards and sets up a 2nd and 4. Brian, you'd mentioned that earlier. The Braves have been 2nd and long most of the evening, and to get some positive yards on 1st down, that's something to.
It's how nice to be on schedule, and if there's one thing in the first half, the game's all interrelated. If you're 3 and out, or if you turn the ball over, whatever the case may be, those things are all connected. We talk about position groups and different things that like it's a separate thing at all together. difficult thing for me in the first half, inability to establish the line of scrimmage offensively and keep this Madeira team off the field. Just long drives. Let's see a long drive here to start this third quarter.
Well, Noah Frazier gets maybe 2 or 3 out of it, and I think we'll wind up with a 3rd and 2. And there's a stoppage of play. We got an injury
on the field. Looks like Gabe Oakes.
Oh boy, big Gabe Oakes struggling and to get up, and looks like he may have messed up his ankle. He's hobbling off, and Gabe, a tough young man and very gregarious young man.
Yeah, one of the all-time good guys. Everybody loves him. Good teammates, and let's hope Gabe gets him, kind of feels better here and able to get back in this football game. Need that character on the field, especially at a time like this, Toe.
Gabe, really one of the most improved players on the Braves this year. Didn't get a lot of action the last year or two, but is playing almost all the time now for the Braves, and really a real resource and asset for the Braves. 3rd and 2. Here's Penn Picton, and boy, he is met initially by Grant Edgington and a host of other Madeira Mustangs, and that'll bring up a 4th and 5.
Yeah, so going side to side there, obviously looking for an opportunity to stretch and cut up the field, and just not available.
So Picton's first down run is somewhat wasted, and the Braves will be forced to punt. And Alex Grace, have we mentioned his name tonight?
I've mentioned just a little bit, and so I was just thinking about how much fun it is to see him put the ball in the air, and on the other side, Autry field the ball. And we're going to have another, well, this one's not going to be caught.
No, but he's going to get a nice net out of this one, because that's well, he doesn't quite get to 50. It's a 48-yard punt with no return. I think Alex Grace could be first-team All-League in place kicking if he gets more opportunity, in punting, defense, and it's a shame. I mean, he started out the season as a wide receiver.
So I think if you're a coach in this league and it comes to the end of the year, you're looking at Alex Grace, and you want to put something in his pocket. No question about it. And if that's kicker, that's a good one, but I got a feeling punt. I've yet to see a better punter in this league.
In a long time. Now Breitenbach hands the ball off to Autry, and he gets a very modest 2 or 3 yards.
So you mentioned, Heiser having a good second gear and, not necessarily thunder and lightning. I'd say the same thing for Autry. We saw Autry break tackles in that first half, and this is another guy that he might have some wheels, but he's also got some toughness in his run.
He's having an outstanding year, both as a receiver and as a running back. As a matter of fact, I think tonight now he's over 400 yards, both rushing and receiving on the year. And there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of stopping him. He's doing a great job, and that line does a great job blocking for him. Breitenbach looking and doesn't see anyone. He'll take off. And brought down there by Dan O'Brien. And a 1st and 10 for Madeira. Breitenbach's had several really, really nice scrambles.
Yeah, really impressed with the ability to see. Good vision. It's a dance more than it's a sprint, and be able to change gears and kind of navigate his way.
Dave, your coach almost jumped and but got back in time and gets himself set. Autry behind Breitenbach. And he will get the ball. I'm sorry, that was Heiser. I'm sorry. At 7 and 9, start to get a little fuzzy for me this time of night.
Calling Dr. David Schneider. Dr. David Schneider, please
Dave,
report to the press box.
David unfortunately retired.
But he might have retired, but his commercials haven't. Still running in my mind. 385 EYES tow.
There goes Mr. Heiser again. And gets through the first tackle and jumps forward for another first down for Madeira.
And so this is where you start to feel for these kids. You know, the game of football, a little different than most games. Baseball, you go out, you give up a bunch of runs, whatever the case may be. You still go to dinner and you're not kind of rubbing your elbows and your knees and all that. And same thing with basketball. You can get run off the floor and you're fine. The game of football, boy, I tell you what, when somebody's got a lead and they start running the ball and you can't stop them, that's a whole different animal.
There he goes again, and there's a hold.
Interesting.
So, not that Autry needed any help, but...
yeah, Kravac mixed up there with Penn Picton. And an interesting thing, because I saw the two guys tangled up and went down, and I think it was a pretty good block, but when they went down, Kravac's arms outside of Penn Picton, but I'm not sure there was a hold.
Maybe the referees are being a little generous tonight, right now, at least at this point.
Depends on if you can get off the field. If you can't get off the field, add more distance may not be the tonic.
Hand off there to Autry, and wow, another broken tackle, and
so shades of the first half, that touchdown run, and been able to run out of tackles.
Autry very elusive, great speed, and Heiser very physical, and but both of them breaking tackles right and left.
Until I'd like to call something out. You remember the Bengals with a player by the name of Tim Crumry back in the 80s, and how people used to marvel at where he was at the end of plays down the field, a big guy, lumbering guy, able to get down there. Xavier Coach, part of that ultimately forcing Autry out of bounds. Coming at it from interior defensive line all the way to the sideline. Xavier Coach really leading as a senior with his effort. And just as proud as I can be of Xavier Coach.
Madeira lines up with Heiser now in the backfield, and Migas is a blocking back for him, and he goes right through the hole. Migas led for him, and picks up maybe 5 or 6 yards, and a very comfortable second down again for Madeira.
Yeah, nice job there by Jonathan Kopfer. He's had a good game tonight on both sides of the football. And here we go again, so we talk about it being on schedule. Madeira in a 2nd and 4. Really at this part, I mean, I know with the score the way it is, Coach Stewart probably not going to throw the ball a whole lot here in the second half, but it's the kind of setup you can do just about anything.
Now they move the two tight ends to the left side. And here goes Heiser, and he gets the first down, gets down to about the 2.5, and Madeira will have a first down and goal from there.
Yeah, and for the most part, playing mistake-free football. You know, good opportunity here from Madeira. Work on the little goal line, and it's a team that, you know, not a lot of holds, not a lot of false starts, offsides, things that could trip you up. They don't get in their own way.
Heiser the deep back, and he gets it. Goes behind a block by Griffin Blackburn, and a fumble. But Madeira holds on.
Yeah, good fight there by the Braves.
No, it was not a fumble. The ball came loose, but it was after Heiser was down.
Yeah, Braves standing up here on the goal line. and I don't want to, applaud every little thing, but that's a big thing, when you got a team that's down 34 points and they're still fighting and they're still protecting their goal line. It's what they're supposed to do, but you still have to give credit to this Braves defense.
That's Griffin Blackburn, and he gets in. Another senior for the Madeira Mustangs, Griffin Blackburn, and hasn't had a lot of chances to carry the ball this year, but he gets in for the touchdown.
Yeah, and another guy contributing tonight. The list just keeps growing here. These Mustangs that making a big play for their teammates.
It's Blackburn's second touchdown of the year. And the extra point is true, and Madeira takes a 48-7 lead with just 47 seconds left here in the third quarter.
Yeah, grooming the next guy, Will Carpenter, just a freshman. He's kicked a couple extra points tonight, and so 3 guys out there kicking extra points, 4 guys scoring for him. Madeira Mustangs are rolling. Going to be an interesting practice when they get back on Monday. I'm sure they'll have film tomorrow, but this Madeira coaching staff going to have to look for things to pick at.
We say better things are ahead for the Braves. Hopefully C.J. Hayden is going to be okay, and we'll get to see him play again here, whether it's next week or the week after.
Yeah, and the thing I feel bad for the kids, and I know these coaches would probably feel the same way, is you have a game that's a close game where you start to narrow things down into, like, hey, we have 3 or 4 things. If we do these things differently against Marymount, that game's different. You go out, you build something with a win against Taylor, and you say, okay, here's some things we can build on. We still got a lot that we want to get better at, but we're talking about just a few things at a time here. Then you have a night like tonight, and it just you feel like, and that's true of life. It's not all linear. Sometimes you go take a couple steps forward and maybe a step back, and then get yourself going in the right direction.
And hang on, and the Braves will be 1st and 10 here at their own 25.
And so it looks like we're going to start to see some younger players here for Madeira, and the older guys have earned some rest in these younger guys, and they've also earned some opportunity for these younger guys. So we have some scores from other games around the tri-state tonight. First in the conference, which is important to everybody. Deer Park leads Marymount 26-10.
And I believe that's Marymount's homecoming.
And yeah, you schedule homecoming and you think you know what you're doing, but every year it's a surprise. Reading 20-0 over Finneytown, and Wyoming at Taylor 42-0. Here's some other games. We talk about good football in the Greater Catholic League South, one of the great leagues in the country. Moeller tonight in a much anticipated game, number 1 and number 2 in the city, Moeller and Elder, 42-7 Crusaders in the third quarter. Indianapolis Cathedral is up on LaSalle, and Louisville Trinity in the third quarter, 24, St. X 7. Until I look at that, and the next one I'll go to is the Greater Miami Valley Conference, or the Greater Miami Conference. You really don't have to go, if you're a GCL South team right now, you don't have to go to Indy or to Louisville or to Cleveland, and play St. Ignatius, St. Edwards, and Trinity, and Cathedral, and Louisville St. X, and that kind of thing. You get your hands full if you just want to have a round robin between those two conferences with Fairfield, Lakota West, and Princeton, and Mason. Tonight, Middletown up on Coleraine 20-12. Interesting how the fortunes have changed there. A lot of teams probably looking for Coleraine on the schedule these days with an opportunity to beat them. Fairfield's up on Hamilton 20-7. Lakota West up in a tight one against Mason, 16-7. Gives you an idea about how tough Mason is right now. Good program. And a nice run out there. Is that Penn Picton? Yeah, it looks like that's Penn Picton.
Yep. Well, aggressive, hard, tough run. So yeah,
Princeton
that's
up on Oak Hills 35-0. Lakota East on Sycamore 7-0. Probably the game of the night in Cincinnati, with all due respect to Moeller Elder, which is a very lopsided affair right now, as it turns out. Winton Woods at Kings, and the Warriors up 14-10 against the Kings Knights, 14-10 in the third quarter. Big game right there, Toe. Matter of fact, I'm going to say the Winton Woods Warriors and the Kings Knights could easily be state champions.
There's Jonathan Kopfer with a big run there to first down for the Braves. Jonathan hasn't had many carries this year, and get an opportunity in the backfield with James LaBarbera on the shelf. Penn Picton can't play every down at linebacker and at running back, and Jonathan Kopfer getting an opportunity.
One of the negatives last weekend, of course, losing C.J. Hayden, another one losing James LaBarbera.
Wow.
And Jonathan Kopfer gets
upended.
Yeah, upended.
And he hangs onto the ball.
We were talking about it earlier. Kopfer in on a lot of tackles tonight, and the deep ball down the right side to set up the Indian Hill Braves' only score. And just starting to expand his role. The last couple of weeks, noticed that Kopfer doing more and more things for this Braves team, now set up next to Alex Grace in the backfield.
A quick handoff there to Rogers, isn't it? Yep, Charlie Rogers, and doesn't really go anywhere. So bring up to 3rd and 8. Again, this is a running clock because of the score. So, with being homecoming, Brian, are you and Boo going to embarrass Meggie there on the homecoming dance floor?
We're going to renew our homecoming routine. Once again, we're going to go over to the Windjammer on Chester Road. See if that place is still open. It's one thing you got to love about this Indian Hill coaching staff. They are not afraid to try guys in games, and we saw it as early as the McNicholas game when they got down. You started to see guys, hey, let's run him out there and give him a chance and see what he looks like in a game situation. And we're starting to see it here. Guys taking different roles.
Well, Jack Stacy gets the ball thrown to him, unfortunately, a little bit short. Maybe he should have come back a little bit more for it, but Jack Stacy hasn't had a lot of balls thrown to him this year. One of the few seniors on the Braves roster this year.
Madeira's starting to run guys in, too. As we mentioned, on defense they did it, but Max Autry's still back there in punt formation like somebody that's going to be able to field the ball. It's one thing, about being up big, and that ball is absolutely boomed.
Well, it's a short kick, and it looked like they might have bumped Autry.
Autry asking the referee if he had enough space, and the referee thinking that he did, and the Braves will take over on the muff punt.
Yeah, so that was a 44-yard punt with no return, which is a little bit below Alex Grace's average. And we look for silver linings. Alex Grace, unfortunately, hasn't had a chance to throw the ball a lot today, but his right leg needs a rub down after the game, after punting as much as he has.
The Braves football team with an opportunity to put some more points on the board.
Grace hands it off. And there's Picton.
Penn Picton going to get into the end zone.
A nice burst there from Penn Picton. There was looked like the line was blocking to the left, and Picton goes to the right and sees some daylight, and beautiful 20-yard run, and the Braves are able to dent the scoreboard a second time.
Yeah, Braves do a good job capitalizing on the turnover. The muff punt, able to knock it in, and really both times tonight, and I know that might not have been the first team defense they're going against, but even when they get to that part of the field, able to score a touchdown.
There's Noah Frazier with a high snap and getting it down quickly and giving Grace the opportunity to push it through. So nice play by Noah Frazier. And let's mention something about Penn Picton, who's been an outstanding player all year. Plays like a senior. He's only a sophomore. So we've got 2 more years to enjoy his exploits on the football field. But as a freshman last year, he was hurt, didn't get to really play at all on the junior varsity. And now he's getting to show what a really good running back he is and an outstanding linebacker.
Yeah.
And as you say, when they look at the all-league stuff, a lot of times it's based on class, and he's just a sophomore, but he's been a stalwart this year.
Yeah, he has, and good teammate, had him in basketball and able to see, the kind of guy he is, good on the bench when he was hurt, and then good in the game when he gets in. Not his first sport, but a guy that'll go out and compete, and he's just a good teammate to help his team win games. Toe, you mentioned it, and I think you hit the nail on the head. When you don't get reps, and the first time you're in the fire, coming off injury, is being out in a varsity football game on a Friday night. Penn Picton really showing well for himself this year. He's been a big part both sides of the ball. Another guy that's been out there quite a bit. He might not be on every special team, but boy, he's been out on the field, from scrimmage the whole season.
I look forward to his future as well. This tremendous junior class the Braves have will be seniors next year. Penn Picton will be a junior, and the fortunes for the Braves next year I think will be significantly different than what they are this year.
Yeah, Braves came in tonight. It's interesting too. Turnovers really not the factor tonight that they have been in other parts of the season. You talk about silver linings or looking for positive things. The Braves come into tonight -8 in the turnover margin, 17 turnovers, 9 takeaways so far this year. Nice return there by Madeira. They're going to be all the way out past the 35, and they're probably going to get more. It looks like a little bit get out of bounds maybe. But, Toe, really not the issue tonight, and, not the issue last week in a 17-0 win against Taylor. Turned it over just one time. So Braves starting to take better care of the football, and that's a big thing. Of course, tonight just not able to do a number of other things against a really good Madeira football team.
Personal foul on the Braves, and that'll give just what Madeira needed, another 10 yards.
And, Madeira can relate to that. Last year, the number of injuries, just like what the Braves are dealing with this year. And last year, Madeira -12 in the turnover differential. And that's how you end up with a 4-7 season for the Mustangs last year.
Is that Colin Miranda? Yes, it is.
Alex Grace still out there making the tackle.
So Madeira had some of their second-string defensive players, and now they've put in several offensive, including Owen, who they have now at quarterback is it's no longer Breitenbach.
Well, next week, think about it this way. Next week you're going into to Deer Park, who played a really, really tough game, against Reading, and, is a good team in their own right. It'd be good to get these guys some rest. You're starting to get toward that back end of the schedule, and then 2 home games with Taylor and Wyoming. Like to be at full strength for that week 10.
I believe that's Carson Schaefer as the quarterback, but the roster has him listed as number 16, and he's wearing number 6, so maybe he lost one.
Yeah, Braves still with Alex Grace, Noah Frazier, Dan O'Brien, Jonathan Copper, Penn Picton, Trey Carter, Xavier Coach. They still got the guys out there.
Well, you mentioned next week is at Finneytown, and then 2 weeks from tonight, we're back here against Deer Park.
Should be fun.
Every night with you is fun, Brian. I hear Boo say that all the time.
So in Division 4, just looking at Joe Edel in the standings right now, if the playoffs were to start today, which thankfully they don't, Wyoming at 6-0, about to head to 7-0, and the number 1 seed here in Region 16. Nice running right there.
Yep. Schaefer has it off to Miranda, and
Miranda showing some shiftiness right there.
Yeah. I wonder if he's any related to Carmen.
Well, I do know this, Toe, and I think your neighbor's in Madeira with the Mirandas. I've heard him come home, had his parents ask where he's been, and he said, I really don't have to answer that question. So I know that that's happened. So let's get back to business here. The number 5 seed tonight, big game tonight that was going on between Kettering Alter and Hamilton Baden. Not sure how that one turned out. Alter number 5, keep your eye on them. As far as Region 16, the Braves have played against Taft 4-2. The number 7 seed, the Braves have also played McNick, who's now 3-3, and Taylor 3-3. Those two teams are 14 and 15, respectively. And Toe, I know you were excited to see Clinton Massey win back-to-back games the last couple of weeks, and they've won them in rather impressive fashion. You have to wonder if maybe there were some injuries or some things going on. Given that there are more teams making the playoffs, it's the kind of program you could see getting in and making some noise.
Well, at 4th and 10, Madeira takes they take a delay a game. They did, and that'll push them back 5 yards to 4th and 15. And again, another sign of sportsmanship from Coach Stewart. Keeping the ball on the ground, having his second teamers in, and then taking running the clock and getting a delay a game to Braves will have one more opportunity here to hopefully put some points on the board.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to that Week 10 matchup. Madeira hosting Wyoming. I know Wyoming hasn't lost a road game since you were a freshman in high school, or a CHL game, Toe, since you were a freshman in high school. But that one's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to seeing Madeira test them and see if they can get into that second half with a game that's in question, see how both teams react.
Well, let's see what the Braves can do with 3 minutes and 1 second left here until the end of the game. Madeira played stellar ball tonight. Now, the Braves did score 14 points so far, and I believe that may be as many as Madeira has given up so far this year in one game. Do you have that stat, Brian?
I actually do. They beat Norwood at Norwood, only gave up 8 points, 37-8. Home against CHCA, won that one 40-7. At Purcell, won 21-9. Home against Finneytown, 42-0. And last week was the high mark. Reading, they gave up only 10 points. So that is a high mark. The Braves have done it against Madeira. They also did it against Wyoming. So just getting on the board against the Cowboys was enough to...
That's the only touchdown that Madeira's given up, or that Wyoming's given up this year, and 14 points, the most that Madeira has given up this year. And so looking for silver linings, that certainly is one.
Tell you look a little tired. I mean, you normally look like heck, but you look even worse tonight. Did you stay up and watch that Bengal game last night?
I did not, Brian. It's past my bedtime. But I was pleased that they won.
Of course.
But, some people have to get up early and work for a living.
Yeah, I know.
And when we find them.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. When we find them, we have pity on them. So, Jeff Amadeo also tonight, his Mets were down early against the Atlanta Braves. I know he's sweating that one out.
Jeff Amadeo, the tremendous principal of Indian Hill High School. Up. Fumble, and Braves recover it. As the clock ticks down to closer to $1:20 until the final gun, and a couple new Braves coming in. George Vollmer coming back in as a wide receiver. Again, most of his reps this year have been on the defensive side, and now he's coming on a punt.
Yep.
And the Braves will let the clock tick for a little while.
Alex with an opportunity to get a good roll here. Nobody back.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And he gets a nice one off. Let's see what kind of a roll he gets.
Well, and he kicked that a little bit end over end. I thought he was going to get more bounce than he did. But I think he saw the opportunity. That was a different looking kick than the spirals he's been kicking with the return guy.
That's 42 yards with no return. So
that ain't going to hurt him, that's for sure.
Well, it's the total punt yards for Alex Grace today may be a school record because he has punted an awful lot. But he's done very, very well. That may be his shortest punt of the game. That's not necessarily a good thing to lead the league in total punt yards.
So I would hope that when your significant other asks you, how does this look on me? Just sharpen up those answers.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Well, Toe, that's going to wrap it up. 48-14 here at home.
Well,
and Chris Stewart and his Madeira Mustangs looking really, really good. That's not just an average CHL football team. That's a really good team. Looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season goes for them.
Good luck to Madeira the rest of the year. And again, the Braves now hopefully get to recoup and recover and play with a couple of guys that LaBarbera didn't get to play tonight. Hayden didn't get to play tonight. Hopefully we'll have them against Finneytown and then back here 2 weeks from now against Deer Park. Thank you again to Denny Dupps and his tremendous crew. I'm Tony Harris for Brian Shaw, signing off. Remember, Brian, one thing about being narrow-minded is you'll never be lonely. Good night, everybody.
Will be October 14th against Deer Park. Have a safe trip home.
Exclusive coverage of tonight's game on the Indian Hill Television Network has been a copyrighted presentation of the Indian Hill High School Video Department.